So did you know that the Chinese government holds more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy? As it says here in this article that we're going to cover, and then we're going to look at the biggest addresses in crypto and see which ones hold the most Bitcoin. So down in this article it says crypto quant chief Qi Yongju had a thread on Wednesday disclosed a little known fact that the Chinese government is not only one of the largest Bitcoin whales in the world, but also holds more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy. Elaborating, he explained that the Chinese authorities handed over 194k worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum seized from the Plus token scam in 2019 to the National Treasury of China. In comparison, MicroStrategy only holds 130k Bitcoin. As it says here in this tweet, fun fact, China is a crypto whale, and then it shows a little infographic. We have that infographic here, and as you can see at the top, MicroStrategy holds 130,000 Bitcoin, which has a value of around $2.5 billion today. And then under that, we have Tesla, we have a bunch of mining corporations, and a bunch of Bitcoin stockholders. So when we go back to this article, is it worth noting that the Plus token scam attracted several investors in Asia and other parts of the world? It was able to steal around 200,000 Bitcoin from unsuspecting investors from 2018 to 2019. Notably, the pyramid scheme scam attracted investors with up to 30% returns for holding their Bitcoin and Ethereum with its wallet service. So if you didn't know, they tried getting away with it, and then obviously they got caught, had to give all the Bitcoin back, and subsequently China actually gained pretty much all of the crypto that they stole. As investigations revealed a typical pyramid scheme fashion, the scheme paid old investors from deposits of new investors. Consequently, it was long found before users started experiencing withdrawal issues from the unsustainable model. Notably, in addition to this, data reveals that the team behind Plus Token also contributed to several significant Bitcoin price drops within the period by swapping their loot using over-the-counter trading services. The crypto quant chief in his thread on Wednesday reveals that some of the members still appear to be active, as some have used the same mixer used by the group to send 50 Bitcoin to exchanges a week ago. So these pyramid scheme people are still out there in crypto. Obviously it's a little harder because we have a lot of people looking at the blockchain right now. But back in 2018, nobody was really paying much attention until we saw that mass adoption in 2021, where we started seeing people like CoffeeZilla making videos on how people were scamming people and looking at their wallet addresses, seeing how much was sent to different wallets, looking at different NFT scams and stuff like that. While it may not have been its intent, the thread has sparked concerns among investors. For example, one user questions what could happen to the price of Bitcoin should the Chinese government decide to sell. Even as another pointed out, it's very likely that the cash disclosed by this person is not only one that the government has confiscated. Moreover, another user laminated the continued presence of the Chinese government in spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the crypto markets. So not only have they obtained 200k Bitcoin, they definitely have confiscated more in the past and probably have a large amount of it. And if they choose to sell, it could tank the price of Bitcoin even more. And as it says in the article, China's not really for cryptocurrency anymore. They've got their own centralized digital currency, which obviously, not many people really want to take into account as a real cryptocurrency, but they have it and people, I guess, use it in their country and they're not allowed to use Bitcoin. Now I want to look at the top 100 richest Bitcoin addresses. So these are ones that contain the amount of Bitcoin. Obviously, we're not going to see the Chinese government's Bitcoin address here, just because it's probably spread amongst a bunch of other addresses. But when we look at the addresses here, we can see that, Binance has a cold wallet here. Basically, all the exchanges will have top addresses in this list. And there will be some whales from previous wallets that they opened in earlier days. But for the most part, it's going to be exchanges. Obviously, with Binance having 250,000 Bitcoin just in one wallet. And then if we look down here, they have another wallet with 125,000 Bitcoin. Right here, this wallet is not identified, so we don't really know where it's coming from, but it's likely to assume that it's an exchange. However, there are some wallets on here which have been made ages ago, like this wallet, for example, 79,000 Bitcoin and was made in 2011. That was when the first amount of Bitcoin was put into it. So you can safely assume that this was one of the early investors into Bitcoin or one of the earlier developers, and the last amount of crypto was sent in 2022. So there's a lot of probably high rollers and big whales on this list, but you wouldn't really know what their addresses are because they don't want to give it out. Obviously Tesla and MicroStrategy they don't want to put all their Bitcoin into one address because, that would basically be unsafe. Now the one major thing is that Satoshi is actually the biggest holder of Bitcoin in the world. Obviously we don't know who he is, he's anonymous. As it says here, Satoshi Nakamoto holds 980,000 bitcoins. Does anyone know their addresses if they are active in the market? I guess Bitcoin is their baby and they wouldn't want to do anything to manipulate the prices and hurt Bitcoin, but why would they be taking corrective measures to fight off some of the other whales? It's kind of a weird question, but interesting to me if Satoshi is still alive and watching. And then it says down here, yes, there are multiple addresses associated with Satoshi. The first would be the address which look at the block reward called the Genesis block was sent to, and then it names an address. Here we actually have that address and the transactions on the blockchain. Obviously people can send Bitcoin to this address at any time, so many people might have just been sending Bitcoin to this address. But it has around 68 Bitcoin in the actual address, and most of it was actually from the first block reward, so it would have been 50 Bitcoin, and then they've been sent 18 Bitcoin over the past, 10 years, something like that. But this was only his first address. Obviously Satoshi had to make an address every time he gained a block reward, so there's probably loads of addresses out there which he actually owns, and that has 50 Bitcoin sitting in there as the block reward, just because at the start you can mine your own blocks, and then as people start to get on the network, obviously the block reward is shared between these people when they pool in. So in theory, Satoshi is actually the biggest holder of Bitcoin, and then it's probably exchanges, and then the Chinese government and a lot of other governments around the world actually have a lot of Bitcoin on their books as well. And then it'll be people like MicroStrategy, Tesla, and all these crypto mining companies. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to check out the recommended video at the end of this video.